After watching this video, you're never going to be confused about HighLevel ever again. I'm going to show you what it does, who it's for, and how to use each of the core functions and how they fit into the bigger picture. And it doesn't matter whether you're considering HighLevel for use in your own personal business or you're looking to become an agency owner and resell HighLevel to others, this video is going to be helpful for both of you, so stick around. Hey, welcome back. My name is Dom, and on this channel we talk about all things HighLevel. Now, before we get diving into the nitty-gritty of the features of HighLevel, I want to give you kind of a high-level overview, pun intended, of how HighLevel is laid out, and then kind of the overall of the basic sales process, so we understand how all of the core features are going to fit in to that customer journey. So the way that HighLevel is set up, there's actually two levels once you get into your account. So on the top, you've actually got your agency account. Okay, you've got your agency level, which is here, right? So this is the one that only you as the agency owner, only you as the HighLevel account owner are going to see. Now, you're not going to spend a whole lot of time inside of your agency level account. This is really just to administer all of the functions within the individual sub-accounts. Now, I'm going to put the sub-accounts here. We're going to go sub-account here, sub-account here, sub-account here, and then there's going to be one here special sub-account. This is going to be your company sub-account. So what's going to happen here is you as the HighLevel agency account here in green, you're going to administer all of your customer sub-accounts here in blue. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to sell these. All of these people are going to pay you, the agency. They're not going to pay HighLevel, but there's going to be one sub-account, which I've shown here in orange. It's going to be yours as the company owner, and you're going to spend 95% of your time in this sub-account over here. And that's what the bulk of this video is going to focus on. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's talk about now the customer journey. This is going to be the journey that all of the traffic and all of the leads that flow into your HighLevel account are going to go through, from click all the way to close, and then all of the after sale and delivery elements. And again, all of the HighLevel features that I'm going to talk about fit somehow into the graph in the line that I'm about to draw. So over here, I'm actually going to start here on the left. This is actually the beginning of the journey. We're going to move all the way over across the board. So we're going to talk this over here in blue. This is going to be traffic. I made it in blue because it's cold. This is just people floating around on the internet. These are people watching YouTube. These are people on Facebook. These are people searching Google. These people have not actually interacted with your HighLevel account yet. They're just out there as people on the internet. All right, from the traffic, we're actually going to move from the traffic to what I like to call the first touch. I'm going to put FT there. This is the first touch. So this is either the first click onto an opt-in page, or this is the first couple of messages that a customer will, they'll click in their first interaction with the business. From that first touch, hopefully during that process, we're going to come here, we're going to capture them here as a lead or an opt-in. You can kind of use those terms interchangeably. I know some of the marketing people will say opt-in is not necessarily a lead, but for the purposes of this video, the opt-in lead is going to be the same thing. And then from the opt-in, what's going to happen is we're actually going to drop people down here into a lead nurture sequence. Now, lead nurture sequence here is going to be a series of messages, emails, voicemails, right? Just basically think of this as types of communication that you're dropping onto your customer to help warm up the lead. And you'll notice that I've kind of changed colors here. As the customer gets hotter and hotter, I'm going to change the colors closer to red. So they're cold here on traffic. I want this to be less blue as they kind of opt in, because the traffic has the content that you put out there has warmed them up. Then they come down here into a nurture sequence where they're going to kind of get really warm, which is going to be here in orange. Now that nurture sequence there is hopefully going to lead to a conversion. Hopefully that's going to lead to a conversion where your customer gets hot enough that they actually want to pull the trigger, buy, and spend money with your customer. But HighLevel's not done at this point. So what's going to happen here is on the conversion, HighLevel's actually going to help you process the payments. And then because I've run out of board here, let's actually just kind of move this over here. We'll actually pick purple now because they're already customers. From the process of payments, HighLevel will help you fulfill your orders. And then after you fulfill your orders, you're actually going to come down and it's going to be all of the after sale stuff. And then after you fulfill orders, you're going to drop down here into all of the after sale. This is where you get your reviews and you try to get your referrals. HighLevel can actually handle this entire customer journey from traffic to referral. So again, as a real quick recap, we're going to start here as the traffic, the first touch, the initial messages. Then we're going to collect the opt-in or the lead, nurture the lead to the point where they convert. Then we're going to collect and process payment. And then we're going to fulfill any orders, right? Fulfill the sale that we sold over here, and then do all of the after sale here and ask for referrals and reviews. Now, to show you each of these features and how they fit into this particular picture, let's hop into my computer and I will show you how they all work. And now that we understand the customer journey, let's attach all of the parts of that customer journey into HighLevel. And as you can see here, I'm logged into HighLevel, but we are inside of the sub account view. Now, this is the view that you're going to be here probably 98, 99% of the time. And that's what I'm going to focus on in this video, especially if you're an end user just using it for your own business. Now, if you want a full agency setup tutorial on how to get everything up here and live, I actually include one inside of the free course. It's going to be linked somewhere in the description. Feel free to go and grab it. And now, if you remember, the first step of that customer journey was the internet traffic, and you have to put something out there for people to find your business. And HighLevel excels with that by giving you a platform in the name of the social planner, the blogging module, and the WordPress hosting. They allow you places to put content for people to stumble across on the internet. So first thing I want to take a look at, and probably what you're going to use the most, is going to be the social planner. And that's actually here under the marketing tab. And once you get into the marketing tab, you'll see that the social planner is right here up top, and it actually defaults to your social planner. Now, it's as simple as logging into your social account. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually log into my Instagram real quick. I'll show you how it works, but it will work on all of these platforms in a very similar fashion. All right, so after some movie magic, you'll see here that I'm logged into my Instagram over here. And it's really, again, you just basically click the button, log in, and it will show up here on the bottom. So let's go ahead and let's get started by scheduling some posts. Once you go into your posts, once you have at least one social account hooked up, this is the screen that you're going to start on right now. You're not going to be in that basically connect your social screen, but if you want to actually connect the social after the fact, you can hit this little gear here, and this is going to bring you to the part where you can actually connect your Facebook or connect any more socials. So let's go back here for a second. This is where you're going to spend most of your time in the social planner. Now, in the social planner, it starts here with this blue button. You'll notice a theme through this video that if you want to add something new, it's typically a blue button. So just keep that in the back of your head. If you want to add something, you're usually looking for a blue button. So we hit a blue button here that says create post. It will pop this little menu here. And what we'll do here is we'll actually upload and create a new post manually, but you'll see that you can actually add through Content AI if you have an RSS feed set up, or you can actually save templates here and you can post through templates. But again, we're going to go create a new post here. I'm going to show you how to do it as manually. So select the social account. We're going to come here since this is an Instagram post here. Now, if you have multiple social accounts set up here, you can actually post to multiple social accounts simultaneously, which is really, really cool. So you don't have to worry about any kind of cross posting or have to worry about any kind of softwares, reposting software back and forth. You can just do it all natively inside of HighLevel. So post there, post to the store, looking for an image, but if we want to post a reel here on Instagram because they get the most reach, we can basically post over here to the reel, type our caption over here, right? This is going to put our caption right down here. Now, if we want to put a comment, right, we want to put a comment here and drive engagement. Who had tacos this week, right? We'll just put an engagement comment there, and then maybe we'll drop an emoji that basically goes, tell people to comment down here. So what's going to happen now, it's going to post the reel, and it's also going to post the comment on the reel when it gets there. And now you'll notice that basically the video is missing. To add a video, all we have to do is basically hit this little video here, and it's going to pull up from our media library. Now, you can't upload directly from your computer to the social planner. So what I would do is I just basically create a folder here that goes social posts, hit the save button. And then what I'm going to do for the purposes of this video, because it's basically the same thing. I'm just going to post it, make a normal post because again, it's the same process and I don't have any test videos, vertical videos uploaded. So we're just going to post this video here on social media. So this is what you'll see, a preview of how it looks here on Instagram. If you had Facebook or you had Twitter or whatever other social platforms you have, you'll see them here across the top. This is how you're going to post through the social planner inside of HighLevel. Down here on the advanced options, what you can do is you can actually categorize your posts here. This is for your own organization. And then same thing with tags. These are for your own organization. If you have multiple social media accounts and you're posting a lot of content, if you want to kind of organize everything, you can add your own categories, add your own tags. Again, this doesn't affect what actually goes out onto the platform. This is really for your own organization. All right, so after you've uploaded your image, you've uploaded your caption, you've uploaded your follow-up comment, you can also add hashtags and you can actually save hashtags. So if you use the same number of hashtags on a bunch of different posts, you can just save them and select them here and upload them to every post. Again, since this is a test post, I'm not really going to use hashtags on this one. Now, you can post it right now in real time, or if you're planning out content for the month, you'll come down here, hit the bottom, and you can actually schedule a post here. Or you can send the post to approval, which is basically going to tell somebody in the organization. If you're a social media manager, you want to send it to an owner, you can go ahead and do that. Or again, if it's just you and your own business, you can hit schedule post, and it's going to bring up a calendar here. So let's say that this is supposed to go up tomorrow at noon. We'll hit schedule post, and you'll see that it shows up right down here that it schedules through here. There's also a calendar view. So if you can see a calendar, you'll see that this is going up on Instagram at 12:02, and this is the post that's going up. And if you want to see what a full month looks like, this is actually what I did in March with my own Instagram channel. So you'll see this here that I posted twice a day for pretty much every day throughout a month. I cut up some long form YouTube videos, put them up over onto Instagram. This is what this looks like. Basically what I did was I sat down here on Sunday the 10th, and I just scheduled out all of these videos and all of these posts throughout the whole 2 weeks so that I could use the social planner through there. And you'll see this is exactly what's going out and what's going on. This is what it looks like when your social planner is fully utilized. All right, moving on from the social planner, we're going to go into the blogging module that HighLevel has. And to find the blogging module, we're going to go over to here into sites. You come right up here. It says blogs right up here at the top. Now you do have to create basically a name for your blog. So I named it test blog. You have to hook it up to a domain, which are all things that you can find inside the free course. I show you how to hook everything up. But basically what's going to happen here is your blogs, you can create, again, blue button to create a new blog post. And to create a new blog, we're going to go test blog number 2. And we're going to go to the domain. You hook up your domain. Add your slug is going to go test 2. And you'll see this is kind of what your URL is going to look at. I keep doing this. You cannot use the slash over there. So it has to be there. It'll add the slash for you. You don't have to add it there. And then type something. So we're going to put something. And then we're going to hit create. This is actually how you create your site. And then inside, you're going to create different posts inside the blog site. So you'll see we got test blog number 2, and now you've got create blog posts. So you've got your sites, and then you've also got your posts. So coming down here into your post, we're going to go test post. Come down into here, test, and then the cover image. Again, I'm just picking up random stuff for the purposes of this particular video, showing you how it works. But basically what will happen here is you'll give your blog post title, your description, your cover image, and then the alt text for the cover image so you can get found here in search. We're going to hit create post. And then once you're in the test post, it's going to give you essentially what looks like a Word document. And this is where you're going to write your blog post. You're going to write it basically as a Word document, but use all of your H1s, your H2s, your H3s, as you normally would on something like a WordPress. You have all of your titles and ads. These are going to act like your blogs that you would on WordPress. When you're done here, if we go test, if we're going to go into insert audio, upload your clip. If you want to upload a video, insert your video, or you can add a YouTube URL. And then same thing if you want to insert an image, it's just like inserting an image, and it will show up here again on the Word document like it would in a WordPress block. If you hit continue, you'll add the slug, add your canonical links, your categories, your keywords, create your author, and then what's going to happen here is you can schedule and publish, or you can publish it as is. If we want to schedule it, again, we'll set this up here to go tomorrow. We'll hit save. And then you'll see you've actually got this one here scheduled to be posted tomorrow on our blog site. Now, speaking of WordPress, there is also a WordPress hosting area here inside of HighLevel. Inside of the Sites tab up here into WordPress, you can host your own WordPress. Now, WordPress is an extra cost to you, the agency owner, of $10 a month. But as you can see here, it's marked up to $24.99. So you can add profit into WordPress hosting. And once you activate WordPress hosting, it's going to operate just like any other WordPress hosting out there, right? You'll have a WP admin backend, and you'll be able to work it just like you would any other WordPress site. And that's about as deep as I'm going to go in this video, because for most of the sites, 90% of the sites that you're going to be building, you're not going to need WordPress. All right, now coming on to the first touch part of the customer journey, there's actually 8 different ways that HighLevel can handle a lead, handle a first touch from a customer on the internet into HighLevel. Now, I want to go through these one at a time. And again, you're probably going to use about 3 or 4 of these every day in your business, but just know that there are 8 ways that a customer can contact. The first one here, we're going to keep this super simple. It is going to be a phone number. So if we go here into settings and we go into phone numbers, you have a phone number that you can get inside of HighLevel that this is going to be someone a customer can call or a customer can text you, right? Those either way is going to work. It actually handles both calls and texts, but you'll notice here this big red bar here, there's going to be A2P. You have to register it so that you can actually text people. I'm going to put a video, I'll put a card up here in the corner. I do have a video on how to actually get that approved because that is a big crucial part for you to be able to use customers being able to text you in, and then also you being able to text them out and then texting them out when they miss a call. Now, when somebody calls or when somebody texts this particular number, this is going to be a recurring theme in this part of the video. Everything is going to drop here into the conversations tab. Go here to all. I think I have some test conversations. Yes, I do. Okay, so you'll see here, this is when somebody comes in and somebody texts here, somebody that text in. If they don't have a name attached, you're just going to see a phone number. If somebody emails in, you'll see this little @ symbol. If somebody calls, you'll see this little phone number. And then this is also a text in here as well. You'll see all the different symbols here. And that brings me to the next way that somebody can contact. All of your DM inboxes will come here into the conversations tab as well. In fact, all 8 customer touch points will drop into the single feed in this conversations tab. So you're going to spend a lot of time here over conversations. You'll see conversations up here, and it's actually going to roll up all of the individual messages by person. So you'll see that I've got my test account here. You'll see that this is an email thread here. This was actually an Instagram DM. I DM'd back out, and then you'll see again DMs back and forth. And then I've also, I think I called or emailed again back down here. So it all puts it all in the same thread, even though it might not necessarily be all emails or all texts or all calls, things like that. You can actually respond with different mediums through these 2 different, you'll see if I had a phone number, I can go ahead down here, I can SMS or I can WhatsApp the person there as well. Any method of communication that you've actually created or they've contacted you with, you'll be able to see that down here on this bar and then type your message and then again, hit the blue button and hit send. Okay, so we've covered a customer can call you, a customer can text you, a customer can DM you. The next thing I want to talk about is going to be missed call text back. Because if somebody calls in and you don't pick it up, that's not necessarily a contact, but HighLevel is kind of their signature feature is that if you miss a call, it's going to text the customer back. And that is actually accessed. That setting is down here in settings. And if you go into business profile all the way on the bottom here on the right, you'll see missed call text back. It's just a tick box to enable that. And then you basically put your first message in the call message right here. You can type it, it's custom, and then you type your number and you can actually send a test. So this is actually this is how to enable that missed call text back. This is gonna be another first contact with your customer. Basically hit the blue button to save it. Now your account will be able to miss call text back. Only thing you have to do is you do have to get A2P approved for this to actually deliver. Now, the 5th way that a lead can actually end up in your HighLevel account is they can actually comment on your Facebook or your Instagram posts. And to make sure we can able to do that, first thing we have to do is we have to integrate our account. It's different than the social planner. We have to go into settings and we have to go here into integrations on the left side, and then you have to log into your Facebook account through here. And again, it's simple as clicking a button, logging into your Facebook, logging into your Instagram, and then you'll see you're on your account. This might be gray, but now this is going to be colorized. That means it's connected. Once you connect those up there and you make sure that these are all going to be checked, this is going to make sure that you're going to be able to receive the DMs and also people can read the comments on your posts. Now, to collect leads from that, we're going to go here into an automation. And we're going to use a trigger on a workflow. So inside here, this is a demo account that I have. Let's go here, initial workflows, socials, Facebook comment. Up top here in automations, I will talk about automations in a later part of this video. But right now I want to talk about the trigger here is comment on a post. So Facebook comment on a post, your account is going to be hooked up. It's going to look at all your published posts, and then it's now looking for a specific keyword. So what will happen now is that when somebody comments on a post with this post, in this example, photos, it's going to trigger the automation. And now I can start a conversation with them and collect them here as a lead. And now for ways 6, 7, and 8 that a contact can come into contact with HighLevel, we're actually going to go into the sites tab here for this. Number 6 is a good old-fashioned opt-in form. So if you come over here into the sites tab, you'll see forms up here. You go here into builder and you'll see that I have some basic general forms here. We're going to open up the form builder. And this is what you can do here. You can now add all things like a full name field, a last name field, and then you can basically customize, drag and drop your form using the elements here on the left side. I'm going to get rid of these here for now. You basically put what you want the button to say here on the bottom, and then it's on you to integrate this into a web page. And that web page doesn't necessarily have to be hosted on HighLevel. What you can do is if you have an existing WordPress site, you have an existing Wix site or some other website that's getting a lot of traffic, you don't actually have to move your website to HighLevel. What you can do is you can actually click this integrate button up here, and you can copy the embed code, which is basically a bunch of HTML code, and you can copy that onto your existing site, and it will embed this particular form onto your existing website, and then all your leads will flow directly into HighLevel, and you can nurture them as you normally would, and as I'm going to get to in the later part of the video. Now, besides forms, we can also embed and use surveys on our websites as well. Now, surveys are good if you want to collect a little bit more information about your person, and you want to give them a little bit of an experience of micro commitments where they're kind of just clicking as they're submitting pieces of information and not necessarily all at once, the way that you do with a form. And we can add surveys essentially the same way as we can add a form. We have all these templates here inside. We'll just use a marketing agency template for now. We'll hit continue. But again, I want you to put more thought into this than I am when you're doing it for your own business. And as a side note, I want to say that HighLevel generally will have templates for just about anything that you have, anything that you add inside of HighLevel. They don't give you a completely blank slate for everything. A lot of things are going to have templates like this, so you're not staring at a blank screen. And now that we're here inside the surveys, you can see you'll have slide 1. They basically they answer the question, they hit next. They answer the question, they hit next, and it kind of slides through. It's almost like a dynamic form. And you can do this, put this on a HighLevel web page, or you can use the integrate button and you can actually embed this code onto an existing website, or you can just link to it and it will show on almost like a standalone page. Let me show you where that is. It'll link something like this on a standalone page. And you can go through there, then there's a form to submit, and that's going to generate a lead into your business. And then the final way that a lead can actually submit their information here into HighLevel is using the chat widget. We're here in the sites tab on the left. On the top here, we come here into chat widget. And then your chat widget will also be, these are those little chat bubbles that you see in the bottom right of a website with a little, maybe a chat with us button. That's what this is. You can either use it through WhatsApp. You can do live chat where it'll initiate a live chat, and if you want to sit there and actually IM with the person, you can go ahead and do that. But the most common one that I'll use here is SMS and email chat. Essentially what this is going to do, this is going to prompt the person to leave a message and then get back, but it will appear on every page of the website. I'll show you what it looks like here in a second. We hit select, you'll see it over here down here in the right, and you'll see that you can see it with or without a face. You'll see it right down here. That's totally up to you. You can customize this here on the side. And then you can also customize what the widget here looks like on the side of the website once they actually start sending their message. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this here for a second. And again, if you have an existing website, you can come over here, get the code, and just copy this code into your existing website. You can embed this chat widget onto a website without having to move your website over to HighLevel. Now, any lead that gets submitted into any one of these forms, if it's embedded on an external page, it will all dump into HighLevel as your CRM. And real quick, before we move on, let's actually recap all of the 8 ways that a lead can come into contact with HighLevel. So they've got a phone number that they can call in or they can text in. That's number 1 and 2. They can send us a DM on social media. They can comment on one of our posts on social media. They can submit an old-fashioned opt-in form. They can do a survey. They can do a chat widget, or they can call us and we missed call text them back. That is the 8 ways that a lead can come in contact with HighLevel. Now let's talk about what happens after we capture their information, how we organize them inside the system. And now, after a customer makes first contact with your business inside of HighLevel, once they submit a form or they send a message in, all of their information is going to get dumped here on the contacts tab. If you hit contacts here on the left, it's going to put everybody here into a really big list. It's going to be a really big uncategorized list. I'm going to show you how to organize this in just a second. But all of your contacts, anybody who emails you in, even people who email you in cold, are going to end up here on this list. And then every message, every conversation is going to end up here in the conversations tab. And again, it's organized by person. And I didn't show you in the previous part of the video, but you can also host all of your opt-in forms, your surveys, and your chat widgets on HighLevel's native sites. So if we go here into the sites tab, you've got your funnels and your websites up here at the top. The builders are going to be just about the same, and just that funnels are more linear and websites have standalone pages. But let me show you here inside of the funnel tab. I could spend an entire hour showing you how to build a funnel and how to build a web page inside of HighLevel. That's not for this particular video. But basically, if you want to host a opt-in form, a survey, or a web chat, the way that you're going to do it is for the web chat, you stay up here kind of in the funnel wide settings. You can come over to here with settings, and then on the bottom here, you'll see a little chat widget drop down. You can drop down and embed a chat widget. If you hit save, that's going to activate the chat widget across every page in the funnel. The same screen is on a website. It'll put it on every page on the website. Now, on the pages themselves is where we embed the forms or the surveys. On a page here, if we come down, we actually select this little element. You'll hit this little plus here on the left side. This is going to open up a panel. And to drop a form, you're basically going to drag and drop. And then you'll select the form that you want. For instance, in this case, it's a newsletter opt-in. We'll delete this other one here. And then if you want to drop a survey, come down here into, you'll find survey, drop it there, and then it will ask you for a survey there as well. And it will embed the survey right on the page. If you have your website on HighLevel, it's that easy to embed on a page. If you don't, you use the copy code and embed it on your existing website version. Either way works. That's how you put those ways to capture leads onto the web pages. Now let's talk about how you're going to organize your leads. And now again, once the leads come into HighLevel, they're all going to dump here into this contacts tab here into one big unorganized list. HighLevel is not going to do any kind of organization or any kind of sorting of the leads for you. This is something that you're going to have to set up. Now, one of the most common tools that HighLevel gives you to sort out your lists and kind of keep people organized is going to be the tags. You'll see these tags here on the right side. These are basically some demo tags that I have. There's no limit to the amount of tags that you can create, the tags that you can apply to a customer. So what you're going to do there is to create a tag, you basically go here into settings. You'll come all the way down here into tags, and then inside of tags, you can basically, again, hit a blue button, and you can actually create a new tag, and then it'll actually add it into lists so that you can actually apply them to a customer. You can also add tags through an automation, which I'll show you a little bit later on in the video, but basically you can go into the customer record. We can open this one up here, come down, and then you will see tags, and you can go ahead and you can actually and it'll add the tag to the particular person. Once you have tags added, you also have this little filter over here where you can filter through the tag. And you can tag by people who are, let's say, interested. And we come here, we go to apply. And now we have a list of the 43 people here who are interested because they all have that tag. And you will notice if you go back here into the filters, you can tag by just about anything. People who live in a certain city, people who work at a certain company, people who have DND'd, or people who've opted out of your list or opted into your list. You can sort by all the Georges if you want to find every George on your list by a full name. You can sort by, there's just about anything. You can sort by people who have access to a particular course. And what we're going to do here, now the thing I use here again is tags to kind of get people onto lists. And we're going to say, again, we're going to say the people here who are interested. That brings me to the next way that we are going to sort and organize our leads is going to be a smart list. So once you have your filter set up, right? So we have all of these people, these 43 people here who are interested. If we come over to here, we hit the filters, you'll see down here it says save as smart list. We're going to click that, and now we're going to say interested in offer. And what you can do is you can name your smart list anything that you want. And then once we hit save, you'll see that you have this other little tab that pops open here, interested in the offer. So we go ahead, we hit all. This is every single lead completely unorganized, or we hit this little interested in offer. And now we have a list of all the people who are interested, and we can just work through the leads this way. So what you can do is you can set up people with certain tags or people with certain conditions that are met, and that will put people here into into nice little lists for you so that you can work and you can organize your leads. Now, in the customer record, let's say that you have a niche specific field that you want to add to a record. You'll notice down here, I've got special event info, contract info, help desk info, all the stuff here. This is not on stock HighLevel. Well, it is, but it's not on the default settings in the customer record. These are actually what's called custom fields, and then you can also sort by custom fields as well. So if you come down here into settings, we'll do custom fields. I can do a whole other video on custom fields. I just kind of want to show you where this is. This is meant to be a very high level overview, despite it being very long. But inside of custom fields, you can organize the people. You hit the green button, and this time add a field, and you can basically go, let's say it's a single line where you want someone to write just a single word. And you can put field name is going to be niche specific thing number 1. And then you're going to attach it to the contact, which is the contact record.
And then you can also put it right into the contact information right there, and you hit save, and then you will have a new field on that contact that you can then filter and sort from inside the contacts tab here. It'll basically add another box inside this left side panel. And now probably the most powerful way to sort your leads and the way that's going to unlock a lot of stuff and a lot of reporting on your dashboard is pipelines. So you have your leads, you have your tags, you have your lists. But what's going to happen is pipelines and opportunities are going to be the most powerful tracking metric. And those are found over here. If we come over here into the opportunities tab, you'll see that you go here into pipelines. Basically, a pipeline is going to be this screen right here. You see all these little sections here of the pipeline. Essentially, this is going to be the sales process laid out. I have one there also for help desk tickets that I've built in here. So people who submit a ticket, people we're working on, and then issues that we've resolved. But you're pretty much going to use at least one pipeline, because all of these, the pipeline is the actual container, so to speak, with all the different stages. An opportunity is going to be the actual little individual box. As you can see here, you can click and you can drag around. So what this is going to be, and again, once we get to automations, I'll kind of show you how this works further. But essentially what you're going to do is with a pipeline, you're going to take all the different milestones in your sales process, and you're going to kind of put them here so that you can visualize what a pipeline particularly looks like. And then again, each of these little boxes represents a single person. And then when it comes to opportunities, you can also sort them by status. Basically, these are all people in your sales customer pipeline. You want to know some people, whether they bought somewhere else, you gave up on them, or if, let's say, that they bought something, right? So you've actually got lost, abandoned, and won. You'll notice these little boxes down here. If I want to change this, and let's say that I was talking to myself here, I call the customer and the customer says, yeah, you know what? I bought somewhere else, or please stop contacting me, right? What I would do is I would take this opportunity, I would drag it down here into lost. I would put the reason that the lost is there. I would hit confirm. You'll notice now that it goes here as the lost, and now the numbers are red. But also now if I come into here and I go to abandon, and this is say, like, let's say I've called this person for like 6 months and they didn't pick up the phone, and I go, you know what? This is a waste of time. I can drop them here into abandon. It's going to take a little while, and then they should pop back up. There we go. It'll pop back up, and the person here shows as abandoned, right? So this is a lead that I gave up on. I typically use lost when the customer says, stop contacting me. And abandoned for me is typically something that I'll say when, you know, I gave up on the person, or I deem them to be a waste of time. Now, the next one here is going to be abandoned. If we go here to 1, this is if I sell them something, right? I accomplished the action that I wanted to accomplish. In this case, let's just kind of refresh the page here. And now you'll see here on the page that the numbers here are green, and it says 1. So again, red is you lost it, green is you won it, and then a gray is kind of I gave up. And you'll also notice that there's a dollar amount attached to each opportunity. So let's say that you're selling something that's worth $100. You're going to see basically $100. It'll say that you won or you made $100 on that particular opportunity. So this is, again, this is something you can manually take care of, and you can manually drag people across through the sales process, or you can come into automations. And we'll get to automations here in the next part of the video. Now, I mentioned that using pipelines and opportunities are going to unlock a lot of the tracking available on your dashboard. So let's go take a look at that. And now we're here on the dashboard. You'll notice here how I have this daily lead flow spot here. Basically what this is tracking the amount of opportunities that were created inside that pipeline on a specific date. So essentially what I'm going to do here is for the dashboard. Now, this is not how it comes out of the box. I created this. I built this on my own. But basically to create this little daily lead flow widget, which I think is extraordinarily important, it should be on the default setting. Essentially what you're gonna do here is you're gonna hit the edit dashboard. You're going to add a widget. I add the little line graph. You're gonna go into opportunities. So it's gonna track all those little boxes. And then you're gonna come into go, and it goes opportunity counts over time. It counts over time, and it says count created on by the day. We want to make sure it's going to be the dashboard date range. So as we change our dates over here on the dashboard, the line graph will change. And the conditions now, I want to select a pipeline that I want to track. So if I want to track status, or pipeline is sales cut pipeline, I want to go here to save, and then it should drop here on the bottom. And now you'll see it creates the other little line graph based on the 9th, I got a lead, and then on the 11th, I got a lead as well. And again, if you're getting leads every day, this is going to be a continuous line. This is a test account, so it's not actually going to show anything. But that's one widget that you should do. And it's based on those pipelines. It's based on those opportunities. Other things that are based on pipelines and opportunities are these funnel widgets and the stage distribution. These are in your stock dashboard. It will show you essentially all the different stages on your pipeline and then how many people are basically in each step. And then same thing here. It'll be the same thing, but in a pie chart rather than all these little bars. And real quick, before we move on to lead nurturing, if you want to get certified to know all of this stuff, HighLevel has their very own certified admin program. I'll leave a link to it down here in the description. And if you pass the test, you get a little certified badge, which you can display on your profile, and then you can charge higher prices as a HighLevel freelancer. I personally made the investment, and I think it's worth every single bit. So again, you want to be sure, I'll put it in the description. You can go check that out as well. Okay, now moving on to our lead nurturing process. This is really where HighLevel's bread and butter and its power truly is going to shine. This is probably going to be one of the longer segments of the video. And to access all of the power of the nurturing process, we're going to go here into the automation tab. Now, once into the automation tab, you can do just about anything, but there's really only a couple of basic functions inside of the automations that you're going to use on a regular basis. Think of the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of those automations you're going to use 80% of the time. And I'm going to walk you through in this particular video, the 20% that you're going to use 80% of the time. Now, inside of this test account, there's a bunch of workflows that I have created. Yours will be blank when you first open your HighLevel account. But to start here, what you're going to want to do is you want to hit this blue button here, create a workflow. And now I want to quickly go through the recipes because HighLevel does give you some pre-built automations that'll get you pretty much there for a lot of basic functions, or you can start one from scratch, which I'm also going to show you in this video. Okay, in the recipes, now HighLevel is always adding all recipes to this particular list. So you might see things in this video, or you might see things on yours that are not in this video because they were added after the video was filmed. Now, one of the things that I like to do here is, let's just say the appointment confirmation. And again, you can go through here. There's a Facebook Messenger recipe, send review request, Fast 5, IVR. There's all kinds of things that you could use. But for instance, for the purposes of this video, let's just say appointment confirmation. If we select that, what it's going to do, it's going to load in a very basic frame of an automation with basically email reminders and text reminders leading up to a confirmed appointment. Feel free to use these inside of the confirmation email. If you open up the actual email itself, you can customize the email, but you can see that they've actually given you some good default copy to use. If you start from scratch, you're writing all the copy yourself. Speaking of starting from scratch, let's go ahead and let's do one from scratch. To build one from scratch and to kind of show you all of the core automations that I use on a daily basis, we're going to go here, we're going to hit create workflow, and we're going to start from scratch. And you'll notice now that it is a completely blank canvas, right? There's not even a trigger. There is nothing. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go, I'm going to call this one test workflow. First thing that you want to do is you want to name it. I typically name it based on what it does. And then inside of your workflows, you're going to start here with a trigger. Essentially what a trigger is what is the action that happens to start the person on the workflow. That's the way that you want to think about a trigger. Now on the triggers, some of the common things that I use, and you'll notice here that this list is like a mile long. What I'm going to do is I typically will use this search bar up here and I'll use a form submitted. Now form submitted is one of those opt-in forms that we did on the lead capture portion of the video. When somebody submits one of those forms, you can trigger an automation based on this. So we can use a form submitted, but then you just want to filter it to make sure specifically what form you want it to be listening to. Because if you don't put this filter in here, it's going to be any form on your account wide. It's going to trigger this automation and start sending the messages. So your trigger there on a form. You can also I like to do order form submission. This is going to be something that if somebody buys something and they submit the order form, that's going to be a trigger that I use a lot. I also use the payment triggers, either if I get a repayment received or somebody pays an invoice or if somebody starts a subscription. Those are typically triggers that I will use based when somebody is going to buy something. The other one that I like to use is also you can do survey submitted. Typically when somebody submits something on your form or on a website, that's when I'm going to start a lot of my automations. And that's what you're going to have for most of your nurturing process. For this video, let's start here at a form submitted. So we've got forms submitted, right? So this is going to be anything on your website or on an external website. Somebody submits their information, is going to start this workflow. Inside your workflow, there's a couple of different types of actions that you're going to use. I like to start with the messages, all right? The actual messages, why we're doing this. We're doing this to nurture a lead. And to nurture a lead, we need to send them stuff. So we need to send them types of messages. The most common message you're going to send is an email. You can give the email a name. Typically, this is going to be what the email is supposed to accomplish. I like to do is I like to name the action so it shows up here on the screen. We have to give it an email subject, and then we have to give it a body. Again, I'm putting gibberish here for the sakes of this video. What the email is supposed to accomplish, the other type of message I like to send a lot is going to be an SMS, which is basically a text message. Again, we can send a text message. We can also send Instagram DMs. And then I'll also send, I think it's Messenger, which is Facebook Messenger. So you've got emails, you've got SMS, you've got Instagrams, and then you've got Facebook messages as well. So when I go and I build an automation, I want to program what I want to say first. I'll lay out all of the messages that I want to say in the order I want to say them. I'll write the messages. My automation will look something like this. Then what we want to do is we want to start adding in the organization steps. We want to add the correct tags to people, and we want to add people to the correct pipelines. Add the correct tags or remove the correct tags when people submit or not submit a form. We hit this little plus button here, and then there is a tag, add contact or remove contact tag function. We want to add a tag. We're going to say we're adding the interested tag. What I like to do is I like to put a little bit in quotes, put it up there, hit save. So now we know that we're adding the interested tag without actually having to click in and check to see what tags that we're adding. And now at this point, you want to add people into those pipelines that I talked about before. And you're also going to want to move those boxes around automatically without you having to actually click and drag those boxes. What you're going to do is you're going to see this creator update opportunity action here. And again, when you're talking about an opportunity, it's literally just those little boxes that are inside of the pipeline. Click this one here. And what this is going to be, typically I will go for the first time, like especially right after a form submission, the box isn't going to exist. So what you're going to do is I basically will say add to pipeline. And then I'll select the pipeline. In this case, let's say that it's the first time somebody's come into contact with our business. I'll hit initial consult and I'll put them into opt-in leads because they're using an opt-in form here. Now in opportunity name, this is how you want the person to show up, what name you want on the box. And since we don't know what the person's name is, we want to pull that field from somewhere. We're going to use this little tag here. This tag we're going to use for contact, and we want to pull the person's full name, or if we just want to pull the first or last name, I'll pull the full name every time. Source. This is going to update automatically based upon where the person came. If they came from a forum or they came from an exterior website like YouTube or Facebook, it will pre-populate this in here. Lead value, typically I will put the value of the thing that I'm selling in the pipeline. In this case, we'll put $100, so it's going to put a little $100 value on every single one of those boxes. And then status, I leave this open because we don't know if they've bought anything or they haven't bought anything yet. But let's say that we had a order form submission here, right? We want to trigger off an automation when somebody bought something. We can go here to status and make it open or make it 1. And what that'll do is that will turn that box green when somebody submits an order form so we don't have to do it manually. This is how we're going to keep things in real time, and this is how we're going to keep all of our reporting tight. Same thing, if somebody writes an email or somebody unsubscribes from an email, we can flip this to lost. It'll make those numbers red automatically without us having to do anything. In this case, we'll just leave it open for this particular video. Save the action. Now, what you can also do is you can also update the boxes. So let's say on the next workflow, I go here into the opportunity and I want to move somebody from the first box, the first column to the second column. What I would do is I would basically make this, move to sold in this case. In the pipeline, consults, then I want to go here to paid. Again, put more thought into this than I am. Since they already have a name on the box, we don't need to change the name. We don't need to change the source. We don't need to change the lead value because we added that at the beginning, but we just want to mark them here as 1. What this is going to do is this is not going to update anything except move the box to this stage and then mark it as 1. So the name is going to stay the same. The value is going to stay the same. You're only going to update what you want to change. In the case of the first update, where you're literally adding it to the pipeline, you want to update all the stuff the first time. But once you move them, you don't have to. You can leave stuff blank and it will work that way as well. All right, so the next group of workflow actions that I like to use when I build my automations are going to be the ones that grant or revoke access to certain things. So if you're a creator who's granting access to courses, or if you're an agency, you're granting access to training manuals and things like that, you want to hit the plus here, and then you're going to see, I think it's grant is the keyword I search. So yeah, you'll see here where it says course grant offer, grant group access. So grant offer, this is going to be basically courses. You'll send logins to people for different courses. That's what that's going to be. Since I don't have any in this test account, it won't let me save the action because it's blank, but that's one there. And then also the same thing here is grant with group access. You'll see I can grant group access. I don't think I have a group. I don't. But that's what you'll do is you can add people into private communities that HighLevel has and offers, which operate similar to school. You can also do the same thing, revoke the course offer, and you can also revoke the group access. Again, if somebody refunds or somebody leaves or somebody, you can drag someone to banned in the pipeline and it will remove them here as well. So you can grant and remove access inside of a workflow. Now, moving on, we have one of the most common actions that you're going to use in all of your workflows. You'll notice that I'm not telling HighLevel any amount of time between all of these actions. And by default, if you don't tell it to wait, it's not going to wait. So in this particular sequence, it's going to add a tag, add them to a pipeline, move them, send them an email, text them, DM them, and DM them all at the same time. So what we're going to do is between these steps, we want to add things like wait steps. We would go between two actions, right? We want the email to go out today. We want the text to go out tomorrow, so to speak. We hit the plus, we type in wait, and we go and we find the wait action. Now that wait action, we want it to wait 1 day. Now it's going to wait 1 day. 24 hours from when the first one goes out, the text is going to go out. The option that I can use here on the wait, though, if I want this to go out in the morning, I can put advanced window on, and I can say this is only going to go out during the week, or it'll go out 7 days a week, or I only want this to go out on Thursday between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. But let's just say I want it to go out between 9 and 10 a.m. Let's come here. I only want that to go out between 9 and 10 a.m. Save the action. Now it's going to wait until next Thursday at 9 a.m. to send all of the texts out there. If you want it to just everything to go just 24 hours after, undo the advanced window, and now 24 hours after this email, this text is going to go out. You'll basically use all of these wait steps here to pace your lead nurture. So if you want something to go out 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, a week from now, that's what you're going to be using the wait for. You're basically going to break up all of your communication and create kind of a pacing for your particular workflows. And now comes the most fun part of automations, regulating who gets what based on different conditions. So the most commonly used action that you're going to use to do this is going to be the if else. So we have if and we have else up here. You can search for if. Inside here, you can basically test for any type of condition you want. The most commonly one that I use, because I basically will sort all of my contacts based on tags, I will go ahead and I will go contact details and I will go tag includes interested, or whatever tag that I want to sort by. So what's going to happen here, let's just say the action name, let's ask a question. Are they interested? Now, this doesn't impact anything. This is just, again, for me, the human looking at this, how to understand what I did. I want to test in this workflow if they're interested. If they're interested, I'm going to send them a sales letter. If they're not interested, I'm going to continue to nurture them. So we're going to say here, if I go, yes, they are interested, or no, they are not interested. If they are yes interested, they will have the tag that says interested. Now what's going to happen, I'm going to save that action, and now I have a branch. If they're interested, yes, if they have that tag, they will flow down this side of the column. If they do not have the tag, they will flow down the no column, and they'll continue to get warmed up. You can make all these kinds of forks however you want. And you can also make more than one. So if we want to add another branch, we can go maybe, and we can go contact details. I don't think I have a maybe tag, but for the purposes of this video, tags is not empty, right? Let's just say that. Now you can have 3 branches. So you can have 3 or 4 different branches, 3 or 4 different sets of conditions, and send people down basically conditional messages based on if they hit all of these conditions. I want you to think about these little if else as kind of like traffic signals in the road. So what's going to happen is someone's going to fall down this line as time passes, and then if they hit one of these if else's, it's basically directing them forks in the road where they're going to go. The other way that we can use and we can direct the traffic here inside the workflow is by using a go-to. So if we use a go-to, we can basically draw a line. So like, let's say the person's maybe interested. What we're going to do is we can just, if we want to drop all the way down here to a text, we can basically go here, go to, and it drops them all the way down into this step. And you'll see how it adds this other kind of curly line in here as well. So if you want to bypass things or you want to send people back to the beginning, right? Maybe they're interested and it comes back to the beginning to check if they are, and now they're interested, and then we'll go down a sales sequence, right? You're going to use these go-tos to kind of just connect 2 points in the spider web automatically. The other thing that I'm going to use a lot in my workflows here is going to be the add or remove workflow. So let's say, for instance, the person is not interested. We can go, I think it's workflow. Yep. Add to or remove workflow. If I want to remove somebody from a workflow, let's say a sales workflow because they're not interested, we can just say remove from the current workflow or remove from referral requests. We want to remove them from that workflow. So that's what will happen. We'll remove them from the workflow. The other thing we can do, if they are interested and they had a good time, we can add them to a workflow. I want to add them to, let's just say, yes, we want to referral request. We want to ask them for referrals because they bought something from us. And we hit that. Now that will add them and activate another workflow. And then the last thing that I'm going to use inside of here is something called trigger links. Essentially what you can do is when you send an email out to somebody, you can listen to see whether or not they clicked that link. And to do that, you're going to open up your email, come down into here, and you will notice if you hit this little lightning bolt here where it says trigger links, you hit trigger links, and it will basically, if you're listening, I want to listen to see if they went to our booking page. It will add the link in there. And to add this link does not get added normally. What will happen is when they click this link, you can use it to trigger another automation. Notice how it is the trigger up here. So you can have trigger, and you can have trigger link clicked. So you can send somebody an email with a trigger link, and then when they click that email, it can trigger some other automation to happen as well. To add a trigger link, that is actually added. Let's not save any of that. Adding a trigger link is in your marketing tab. And then once you get to your marketing tag, you will see trigger links up here. You'll see the name of the trigger link. You know, I named it here, booking page, and then I put the link to the booking page here. This is where you want somebody to land when they click that link. So for instance, I have initial consult booking page. I want them to land on this booking link when they click that inside of an email. Again, I can do a whole video on trigger links if we want, but this is kind of for this quick 5-minute version. This is basically what I want you to know. So you can basically create the link, you give it a name, and you tell people where they want them to land when they click, and then it will show up in that little drop-down menu inside the email. Speaking of emails, let's move on to our campaigns and our broadcasts as part of our other lead nurture process. Now, at this point in the lead nurture process, somebody may have gone through the initial welcome sequence, and now we want to broadcast to them long term. If you remember from a previous point of the video, we're going to go back here into the contacts tab real quick. You'll notice that we have this smart list of people who are interested in the offer. What we're going to want to do is if we want to broadcast an email to these people, there's 2 ways we can do it. Number 1 is the quick and dirty way. We can just select everybody here, and we can go in here and we can just click this little send email button, and we can email them all at once. Now, this is not the best way, not the ideal way to do it, because it's not really going to pick up on too many stats. But if you want to send out a quick broadcast to everybody, like you're going live on Zoom, or you're going to be streaming or something like that, this is a quick and dirty way to send a mass email. How I prefer to do it if I'm doing it in a marketing sense is I come over to the marketing tab, I come up here to emails, and I go to campaigns. And inside the campaigns tab is where I'm going to create my beautiful long marketing emails and all of my email broadcasts. And if you find yourself sending the same type of email more than once or periodically, like for instance, let's say you're creating a newsletter. What you can do here is you can come up here and create a template inside the email, and you can create a template that's going to either have your email signature on it, if it has your newsletter template where you just want to change some of the current events that are inside the newsletter, but keep all the static links at the bottom the same, you can use a template there. So for instance, let's just say we use email signature template. Let me go ahead here, and again, this is something I can do a complete other video on, but let's just add a footer on here for now. Go there, add a footer, And now we're fine. We'll save that template. And you'll notice here to build this email, it's very much like accessing a Word document. So if you can do a Word document, you can write an email here inside of HighLevel. And if you want to add certain elements, just like the web pages, you can drag these over here from the left side. Now let's say that we want to use this email signature template to send a newsletter out to the people who are interested. We're going to come over here into campaigns, and we're going to create a campaign, and it's going to pull up the template that we want to use. If we want to use something here from blank, we can create it from a complete blank screen. But let's say that we have our email signature. We've got some nice sales links on the bottom. We've got kind of everything formatted, and all we want to do is just write a quick email and send it. We would use the email signature template. You come over to here, you hit the check mark, and it's going to kind of build that template inside of our builder here. So all you're going to have to do is just write your email and hit send, basically. And this is heading 1. We want this just to be paragraph, so it looks normal. That's how you change the size in there. Heading 1, 2, 3, you'll see all the different sizes. We can make it nice and big, or we can go and just make it look normal text. When you're done writing your email, you're gonna hit send or schedule. What you can do is you can send it now, send it at a later date, or you can send it in little batches. If you have a really big list and you don't wanna raise too many spam flags, you can send it a little bit at a time. Again, I could do a whole other video on that one, I probably will, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, let's just say we want to schedule this to go out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Fine. We put the email that it comes from, and we want to put our name on here, and then the subject line of the email. We fill this out, and what I want to do here is into the recipients. I want to get down here. This is why we created the Smartlists. So we go here, send to Smartlists, and then we click the little plus, and now we can show people who are interested in the offer. It's going to be everybody who matches that interested tag. And you'll notice down here is that if anybody becomes interested between now and when the email goes out, we can choose to include them, yes or no. So yeah, we're going to include everybody who becomes interested between now and when the email goes out. We want to click tracking the clicks, and then we also want to click UTM tracking, which is going to track where they clicked from. These are the two things that you don't get when you send the email the quick and dirty way. So when that's done, you hit schedule, and that's going to schedule or send the email. This is how I prefer to do email campaigns and email marketing on nurturing. And the other type of broadcasting that I would want to do inside of HighLevel to kind of nurture my leads would be an SMS blast. So let's say I want to do a text message blast. I would take everybody here who say interested in the offer. It would basically be the same as the quick and dirty way of sending an email. You can select everybody, select them there, hit the button here, and you can send them all a mass text. Although I would be very wary of sending mass texts if you don't normally send a lot of text messages, because a spike in text messaging can basically burn your number and the carriers might block you from texting. Proceed at your own risk when blasting a big list to text. And now let's move on to the conversion phase and the actual sales phase itself. Now, a lot of people that I talk to use basically Zoom calls or sales calls to convert their prospects. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the calendars tab of HighLevel so we can actually schedule and administer and do all the links associated with the meeting along with the reminders. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here into the calendars tab, and you'll notice here that HighLevel actually has a built-in calendar here, so you'll be able to see all of your sales appointments. And if you have multiple staff, you'll be able to figure out and see whose calendar, who has an appointment with who at what time. To create a calendar, what we're going to do is we're going to actually create a calendar settings over here, and you will have this blue button here that says create calendar. When you create a calendar, there are many different calendar types. There's the service calendar, which is a scheduling for services like home services or things like that. What I like to use the round robin calendar. And the reason being is that if you use the simple calendar, it attaches that calendar to one person. If you have, say, a sales team or you have people who rotate in and out as staff, you basically put them on a round robin, and I'll show you here in a second. It's basically what you're going to do is you're going to create the calendar, and then you're going to attach the people to the calendar, and the calendar stays static. Let me explain this. Select the round robin. We're going to go test calendar. And what you'll do is you'll actually select your team members. And this is where you can select either multiple salespeople or just yourself. And if you do ever want to outsource this and have somebody else take your calls, you can actually just delete yourself and add the other person to the calendar, and that's the only change that you actually have to make. So what we're going to go into here is we're going to go test calendar. Don't worry if slugs are already taken. Put something here. No one's going to see this anyway. It's your basic calendar settings, your 30-minute duration. Click confirm. And then you'll see that your calendar shows up here as a round robin with 30 seconds. Now, if we come into here and we hit edit, I want to go over the links and sending the links and putting things on the calendar. There's a couple of settings that I want you to go through. Some that I use when I create every single calendar. The calendar name will show up on the side. If we go into, it almost looks like the Calendly where you have it on the top left side there. But what I'm going to use here is the meeting invite title. This is what it's going to show on the Google Calendar or the iCal on your and your prospects. So what I'll do is I'll put the little X and then it'll be put your name. So they're going to see their name and your name on their calendar. You will see their name and your name on your calendar. And again, here's the team members where you can actually add and you can swap out your people. Again, if you have multiple people on a sales team or if you have staff turnover, this makes it really, really easy to do. Event color, what color you want it to be on your calendar. I like to make all of mine a certain color, so I know that's a business color. Again, it's up to you. What I want to do here is the notifications. You want to send an email to the contact and yourself when someone books an appointment, and then you want to give them Google and Outlook to send email invitations and updates as well. And you'll notice that you want to make sure if they want to schedule or cancellation, this will create those links for them inside their Google account as well. Now, going back here to the meeting details, if we want to come into the location, you'll notice here that you can actually put this to Zoom, to Google Meet. One, if you go to Zoom, you'll have to attach a Zoom account to your person in your personal profile. I show you how to do that in the free course if you want to go grab it. But basically, if you select Zoom, it's going to generate a specific Zoom link for every single meeting. But if you're someone you want to do a Google Meet, you leave Google Meet, it will generate a Google Meet link on the calendar automatically. So all your person has to do is click a button and join. There's nothing for you to do. Click the link to join, and it creates everything here automatically. Now, when an appointment is created, I've come back to the main calendar screen here. It's going to show here in this little appointments tab up top. You'll notice here that I have a couple of test appointments here that I've done from another video, and this is what they're going to show up. When somebody requests an appointment on your calendar, they're going to show up here on the line. They're also going to show up in the calendar itself. Now, let me back this up to July so I can show you. You'll notice here how it shows up here on the calendar as well. So if you come over here in the appointments, but if you come back here into the appointments, you can actually change the status. So if somebody here has requested an appointment, it's new, you need to confirm it. They can show, no show. You can track your shows and your no shows just by using the simple drop down here on your appointments. And you can also use the changing of the status to trigger off different automations. So for instance, let's say that we have somebody here who no showed. You can update that. And the act of updating that as a no-show could fire off another automation that will say, hey, let's get something on the books. I missed you. But assuming somebody shows and they say yes to your offer, let's move on to payment collection. Now, to set up your payment collection, we're actually going to go over here and set up into the payments tab. On the payment tab here, this is where you're going to create all of your products that you're going to sell. You're going to create all your invoices, your contacts, set up your payment processors. Anything having to do with collecting money is going to be in this particular tab. First thing you're going to have to do, though, once you go into payments, you're going to have to come here into the integrations tab, and you're going to have to hook up a payment processor of some type. Now, most people are going to be Stripe. Most people watching this are going to hook up a Stripe account because it is the most automation friendly. It's the most tech friendly, and it's also the easiest to set up if you've never processed payments before. However, HighLevel, as of the making of this video, they should have by Q3 of 2024, they should have the same automation capability they do with Stripe, with Authorize.net or NMI or any of the other payment methods that you have set up. So I use Stripe currently right now because of all of the automations and triggers, and that's just kind of how I have it built. Now, once you get all of your payment processor integrated to accept credit cards, you can also manual payment as well. So if we connect this, you'll notice that you can actually add a cash on delivery method if you want someone to pay you in person, or if you want someone to, say, send you a check. You have payment instructions enabled for an order form or e-commerce forms. So if you have a custom payment method that you want, accepting checks or something like that, you can enable that there in the manual payment method. And again, you'll just put this one here, CODs. Once you hit save, it will become a payment method on an order form as well. And once you have your payment provider here set up and integrated, you are able now to get paid and you're able to accept money. Now, a lot of people who might be watching this might do all of their businesses based on signing contracts. You want to send out a contract first, get it signed, and then you send them an invoice to collect the money. So to do that, you're going to use this documents and contracts and then the invoices tab up here inside of payments. What we're going to do here is we're going to start here with a template. A lot of these, if you're sending a general contract out over and over and over and over again, you're going to create a template. The template looks something like this. What you can do here to get into here is, again, it works just like a Word document. You'll notice a lot of these little curly braces here. These are custom values pulled from the contact record. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to create your contract here, and you can upload a PDF. And you'll notice again on the contract there is a lot of curly braces. These are going to pull from the contact record once you attach a customer to the contract. This way you're not manually filling everything out. You'll notice a lot of this demo, this photography, the address. These are all of my addresses because it's pulling from my location in my HighLevel business profile. So you'll see here contact, event, title, address, date, right? All those things that are in there. You'll also notice down here that there are signatures. You can replace DocuSign with HighLevel. By coming into here, you can actually add, there's elements here on the left. You can basically drag in a signature onto the form, and then you can basically sign by the contact or signed by you. You can basically, again, whose signature it is and leave it there on the paper. Like I've done here. It's basically the business owner, and then it's the contact as well. Same thing, you can put initials on the bottom of each page of a contract here. Same thing. Have the element, drag initials, and then whose initials they are, and then that will send it out to the person. When it's time to send a new contract out to somebody, you're going to come into here where it says templates, and you'll take the template, hit these three dots and say use template. This is going to create a new contract. And then all you have to do at this point is basically come up here to the top left and attach it to a customer. Let's attach it to myself. You'll notice now it should pull in all of the customer information. What will happen now is once you pull in your primary client, if they have all of their name, it will pull everything here into the contract. Now, again, we'll use the primary client here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to preview this. And then what will happen is that you'll see that it'll pull in all of my name up here. And then if I had anything filled in for an event, it'll come down through here. And then it has the signatures here as well. It pulls in it pulls in the name, it pulls in the mailing address, everything through there. And then from that point on, you can just go ahead and send it. It'll send the contract via email. So once you have the template set up the first time, all you have to do is use the template, select the person, hit send, and it'll send the document off to be signed. HighLevel will then keep track of all the documents that you sent. It'll show you what was in draft, what's waiting for other people to be signed, and then what's also been completed in terms of who signed what. This way you'll know exactly what documents are outstanding and which documents have left to be signed. Invoices work very similarly. So if we come over here to invoices, and we come here into all invoices, you'll notice that it keeps track of it, basically the amount of the invoice, who's there, whether something is overdue, how many have been received, how many people have paid you, how many people have yet to pay you, and how many you have sitting here in draft. Invoices, again, you use a template, you create a template one time, and then you keep sending it over and over and over again. To create a template, it's really simple. We hit new template. It pulls in your company logo. It pulls in it pulls your customer information here. It pulls your business name in over here. All you really have to do is basically just add a product, add a description, and then change your price. Right, let's say, again, this is a $5,000 contract. And then when that's done, add your terms, notes on the bottom, and then you would hit save, and then you would send. You would save, here's a template, and now you can use it one time. It works very similar to the document, so that what we did was we just used the template. We have to attach a customer to it. And what it will do is it will pull in all of my information, and then I go ahead and I can just send the invoice to the customer. And again, this is a test account, so I'm not going to send it. They'll get this here in an invoice. They can hit the pay button. It'll give them a point where they can prompt put their credit card or any other payment method that you set in your payments tab. And then finally, while we're on the subject of payments, I want to talk about the text to pay links, which are basically a really quick and dirty way to ask for money. All right, so the final way that we can ask for money, it's kind of quick and dirty, but it's the way that you would do it for kind of one-off impromptu ways. Like for instance, let's just say we're doing an impromptu coaching call. I can send what's called a text to pay link. I would go find the conversation here in the conversations tab, and down on the bottom here where you're writing an email, you can actually hit request payment. So what you would do here, let's say it's a coaching call, and we would do $100 for, let's say, a 30-minute coaching call, right? Putting that on the invoice, and then we would hit copy link and mark as sent. And if we want to have a due date on the invoice, we can make this due in 3 days. We would hit copy link, mark as sent. Now you'll notice this kind of pre-populates an email here with this particular link into here. If we copy the link, open a new tab, let's say this is what the customer is going to see, it'll come up this basic page that has a basic invoice where you can click this and it will prompt so that they can put their credit card information in and actually pay the invoice that is there. This way you can send links and little impromptu requests for money, and they'll all process and they'll all get tracked inside of HighLevel. But again, to send it, you actually have to hit the send button. Since this is a demo account, I'm not actually going to send a live payment link. And that covers all of the ways that you can get paid from HighLevel. Now let's talk about delivery and fulfillment once somebody gives you money. Now, at this point, the customer has given us money and we are, let's say, a coach, a consultant. We're doing something that requires a digital product or a community to fulfill. This is where HighLevel can fulfill that particular need. To access all of that, we're going to start here on the Sites tab, and up here you're going to see where it says Client Portal, and you can go ahead and actually go into the settings or the dashboard, and this is actually where you're going to administer and give out all of your login credentials. Magic links, invite to the portal, send the login email. And that page will look just like this. This is the page that you're customizing. You'll put your logo, you will put the name of the page, I'll log in here, set the colors. That's what that is going to do. Once you get logged in, this is what your members portal is going to look like. And there's actually going to be groups, courses, libraries, affiliate managers, all kinds of things inside of there. That is all managed through the settings and the branding and the configuration through here. Again, I cover more of this inside of my course. Now, to actually create and administer the courses, you're going to go here into the memberships tab. Now the memberships here are, you're going to go here up to courses, communities are both in the same memberships tab, but inside courses, first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a product. And to show this better, I'm actually going to show you the back end of my own personal sub account that has all of the products that I have created. So coming into here, you're going to create a product, create a course. Let's just say we come into here, the Snap. You'll create all of your lessons. This works very similar to Kajabi if you've used Kajabi before. Again, I could do a whole video on how to do this. In fact, I have. I'm going to leave a link to it up here at the top if you want to show how to build a product, how to build a course on top of HighLevel. And in that video, I actually show you on my own Lead Vortex how to do it. That video is there. You're going to create that. Then you're going to attach that product to an offer. And then the offer is what's going to go inside of a page. Again, it's covered in that particular video that shows you how to build it from scratch. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to create a product, attach that product to an offer, and then that offer is what is going to be on your payments page and what's going to be on your order form to fulfill that as well. And then once you log in, your group is going to look something like this. Again, you'll notice it looks and feels very, very similar to school. Inside of the settings, this is where you are going to set a lot of your stuff. If you want to make your group paid, you can make your group paid. If you want to change how the favicons, the cover images, everything like that, you can change all the stuff inside there. Themes, colors. Again, go wild. That's not necessarily the purpose of this video. I just want to show you that the communities are here, and this is how you're going to administer that post-sale. If you remember from the automation segment, we have add and revoke group access. When someone pays you, you can have that trigger the automation to give them access to a group where they'll just get a login that says you've been invited to the group and they automatically have access. There's nothing for you to do. Okay, moving on from courses and communities in the home stretch. Now we're going to talk about after sale items and getting the reviews and asking for referrals. Now, reviews are under the reputation tab here. This is the final tab that we're going to go into. And basically what you do is you create a little review widget inside of the reputation tab, and then you embed that widget onto a website, the same way that you would a form or a survey. So what you would go into here is you'll see here in the reputations tab, this will give you a little dashboard of what it looks like. But coming up here into widgets, what you'll do is you're going to create a widget that looks just like this. And you'll see a little list of your widgets here on the right. We create a new widget. It'll ask you if you want to have all your reviews or just Google pages, Facebook pages. If you have multiple pages, you can kind of filter where they come from. In this case, we'll just do all of them. And then on the widget type, you can have it look like a list. You can have it look like a grid with all the reviews will be basically arranged in a grid. You can have them all different sizes with the masonry. Put them into a carousel. I only have one review here, so you'll have to use your imagination on this one. But let's just say we use it here as a list. And if you want to filter and only show 4 stars and above, or only show 3 stars and above, you can go ahead and do that as well. The content here, you can show, this is basically going to say content title. You'll see it up at the top. If we hit save, it changes it up there. And then the description will be, let's put some stuff in here, give it a second to refresh, and it'll see right down there. You can actually add some extra content or a title and a description to the review widget. When that's done, basically what's going to happen there is you're going to hit save. Let's make it live. Actually, we're going to make this one live. All right, so now once we have a live widget, and now once this is live, this widget will now be active in that left sidebar to drag onto your HighLevel website pages. But if you already have a website and you want to display your reviews anyway, what you can do is you can basically hit this little code up here, and this will give you this code that you can copy and paste into your existing website. And that way you can display all of your reviews and all your testimonials on your existing website, but they're all powered by HighLevel. That's how that would work. And then finally, when you get a review, I want to show you Reviews AI. So you don't actually have to respond to all of your reviews personally. You can let AI do it. And to access Reviews AI, you're going to be here into the Reputation tab. You'll be up here into the settings, and you'll see it here right at the top. It's going to default as off. It's not going to respond of any kind. You can turn it to suggestive, which basically means when you go to manually reply, it's going to give you suggestions as to what to say. Or you can leave it automatically and it will respond to every single review if you want it to. I don't recommend leaving it to respond to absolutely everything. What you want to do is you want to basically pick your sources. Let's go Google or Facebook. We'll have it review to both. Respond to both sources of reviews. But I don't want it to respond to every single review. I want it to respond to only reviews 3 stars and above. And the reason being is that if you get a really bad review, someone goes, oh, this was awful, I experienced this, and that, and it was awful. You want to take the time as a business owner and as an agency owner to personally respond to that review and actually read through it. You don't want to leave that to AI. But if somebody responds and goes, hey, it was great, I highly recommend, it's kind of a generic response, it's a generic review, you're okay with a generic response that says, hey, thanks for leaving a review, right? That's okay. But if someone leaves a multiple paragraph 1 star, you don't want AI responding to that. That one you want to handle the old-fashioned way. So that's why I set that response to only 3 stars and above. You also want to have it wait a little bit. So let's go 2 hours before responding, right? So it's not like you're sitting there at your computer. You don't want it to look like a bot to the person leaving the review. You want to basically give them some time so it looks like you took the time to read the review before responding. And if you want to add a response footer, something basically on the back of every message, that's totally up to you. When that's done, you hit save, and then your reviews are set up for responses.
And there you have it, a complete picture of what HighLevel does. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. And if you're one of those end users who just want to use the software, I suggest you check out my version of HighLevel called Lead Vortex, which is actually linked in the description. If you're looking to start your own agency, I've left an entire free agency course, again, also in the description. Feel free to grab and check out either one. And for more HighLevel content just like this, check out one of these 2 videos up here in the corners. I will see you in the next video.